Welcome back to Income Trading 101, and today is April the 7th, 2021, and we're looking at this stock pre-market. Today we're going to look at Southwest Airlines, symbol LUV. L as in Lima, U as in uniform, V as in Victor. This is one of the airlines that's maintained a certain level of profitability over the last few years. You can see they even were paying a dividend. What's that? About 18 times, about 72 cents a year dividend pre-COVID. They got rid of that dividend over the last year, and I won't get into too much of looking at these earnings and giving more of a fundamental view of it, because we're going to talk technical analysis, which our main goal is looking at levels of support, reoccurring themes, and just seeing where this stock might be heading. And I think there's some exciting things. So let's go ahead and get started by looking at the data. I like to always know where these companies have been. So you can see it had a high, we'll call it around $65, about $65 a share. And that was back in 2018. And certainly this airline has seen a lot of sideways movement since then. It sort of came on off, went sideways. It took a hit, obviously, with COVID at the beginning of 2020, Q1 of 2020, and has started a recovery that has taken quite a while. So let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm going to get rid of the volume like I always do and take a look at some moving averages just to get us warmed up, get us started on this one. And as you guys know, I'm going to do the same. I use the same style of analysis every day, every trade. I do add a couple of other indicators when I'm trading my own positions, but I just like to be consistent so that I can get the same sort of results. I'm a big advocate of consistency. So, even an imperfect system, when used consistently, can become closer to perfect, just because of the things that you'll be able to use and see it with. What's interesting to point out right off the bat is that most stocks, when we look at them, actually saw a recovery, a bottoming out rather, in mid-March. We saw a bottom in Southwest Airlines in mid-May. And, if you remember, with this being a travel company, so many people just stopped traveling. But I think with better information around the vaccine and people getting vaccinated. There's several articles and several folks expecting to see a pop in airline industry. And you can see that's sort of happened since February, gotten much more of a bull market. So while it's been up, mostly trending higher since it bottomed out in May, really this new rise in February and since then has been interesting. So right now at the daily level, you can see that all three indicators, even though the 10 and the 20 are very close to each other, they're only 30 cents apart. You can see the numerical value in the upper left-hand corner over in this area. They're only 30 cents apart, but all moving averages are in line, with the 10-day higher than the 20 and higher than the 60. Let's take a look at a smaller time frame. Let's get a sense. We do see a bullish pattern at the 1 hour. Let's take it to the 30-minute. Still bullish. And I imagine the 15-minute will be just the same. Well, 15-minute actually is the first point of congestion, because we get the 20 is 6 cents higher than the 10. Now that's not much, but it's still worth noting that for the last day or so, Southwest Airlines has been rather choppy. But look at how it's traded in the past. We've seen, choppiness intraday, a fall at the open, choppiness intraday, choppiness intraday, a gap, choppiness intraday, a strong move up, choppiness. So this stock is its intraday pattern for the last week or so has been flat. It certainly has seen some strong up moves and down moves, down on the 24th, down on the 23rd, down on the 22nd, but the 25th was a strong up day, another up day on the 26th. So very interesting. So right now, for the last couple of days, we've had choppy behavior intraday, and then these pops that are accounting for the continued bullish look. So let's go ahead and look at the MACD. I'd be really curious to see how this is going to play out. I'm sure on the daily level, it's going to be as it looks. I expect it to be a strong bullish and probably hasn't crossed the zero line in a while. But, yep, look at that. Barely crossed the zero line back in late January, February. But for the most part, during extended periods of one direction, the MACD isn't as strong or doesn't give as clear an indication. Let's take it to a lower time frame though, and just to point out, you see some of these crossovers, but the crossovers between the blue and the red, the MACD line and the signal line, but they've remained positive except for a little bit of a dip in January, beginning of February, and it stayed positive though after that. After it returned, dipped a little bit back here in August to July, going in August. Actually, we had a crossover of the MACD and the signal line back on August the 5th that, arguably was legit because it was part of this longer trend. But when you see, I like seeing these cross over the zero line just for a more clear signal, so that I can be clear. Like this one, right? Look at this. Back in February, signal line crossed over the MACD line, and it sort of was channeling sideways. But look what happened when it went zero, when it crossed the zero line. This thing fell, right? It fell from $58 to almost $52. So if you had caught this part, that would have been very nice, selling it once it went negative. It did have a crossover in March, March the 5th, and it crossed over the zero line probably after that gap move. So depending on where you would have bought it, probably wouldn't have been a good trade. Again, this crossover never went negative. This one did go negative. It crossed over. We had a cross here, but more importantly, it crossed the zero line and went into negative territory. There would have been time to catch some of that short. It is hard, I think, to only trade using the MACD. So definitely if you decide that this is going to be sort of the base level or basis of your trading decisions, make sure you at least use multiple time frames because it'll give you a little bit clearer information. All right. We had a crossover below the zero line here of the MACD and the signal line, and it went positive here. And so if you had bought around there, you still would have made probably $4 or $5 in the stocks. Very, very nice. But we are seeing at the 30-minute level, we see a bit of a bearish crossover. But again, I'm not going to put as much weight in it until it crosses the zero line. And what that means right now is that I'm not looking to alter. I'm not going to go from long to short. The trend right now in this stock, even though it on these smaller time frames, it's looking kind of flat, the trend is definitely going higher. And so before you short the stock, I would suggest that you really make sure that you're getting a clear sell signal and that the trend is not going to continue. What you don't want to do is like short on this day and you're happy that you made money intraday and you're like, oh, okay, I can still make money here. And then you wake up on Monday and the stock has popped because it just you're still fighting the strength. The strength right now in this stock is definitely to the upside, as you can see. All right, let's go ahead and take this back to the 1 day and just look at some levels that have come about. So I would do a Fibonacci retracement. The truth of it, though, is that we have 100% retraced. So let's do this. Just going to draw this all the way out. It's the previous top. Let me see if I can. I want to make sure I make it flat. And trading in a trading view, you can see those the negative white number. It gives me had it gives me the ability to make sure I'm not doing anything with this line. I'm going to pull it, stretch it on across. Just want to see the price. Okay, 58.65. Okay, so make sure 58.65. Good. This is an important level, right? 58.65 back in November of 19, right? Pre-COVID was playing resistance, right? This was playing as a resistance line. Played resistance again late January of 20. Resistance again, and actually became the 2020 high in February, right? February of 20. And then you have the COVID fall. Well, look what's happened here is more recently we bumped up against it, and it appears to be, except for a couple of these areas, it appears like this is going to end up being a nice level of support. And I'm betting, let me see. I want to check one thing. If I were to go to a straight up, let's not go bar chart. I really want to do a line chart, where you just are really looking at the closes. You can see what's happened. It's only really dropped below a couple of times. So it attempted to be resistance again in late February, but then we broke through it in March. And now I expect this line to become support. I'll kick it back to the candles. So knowing that this may very well be your support line is very, very, very powerful. Let's pull this SOM back out and see if there's anything else that we should be aware of. Wow, look at that. Even this price range, this level of support wasn't just, it didn't just start. It's been ongoing. Trying to get it exact. I mean, that has been a strong level of resistance. A level of resistance that strong for that long, I would 100% anticipate becoming support in this market. So good to know, good to keep track of. There clearly have been some other periods of, or some other levels that matter, but I'm not sure that any matter quite as much as this one at this point. Very powerful. I also want to take a look at our upward trend, just so you see how much the slope really did change. The slope changed a lot in February, the slope of this line. So we're going to go here. I mean, that's let me see if I can shorten it. That's huge, right? I could tighten this up a little bit, but not a whole lot. The full slope of our upward trend in Southwest Airlines changed in February. Now, from a fundamental standpoint, you could talk about, people getting vaccinated, people starting to travel more. Southwest has been one of the beneficiaries of a good hedging program for their fuel costs and all of that. All of those are fundamental reasons. And fundamentals matter, but it's not what I chose to discuss on this channel because I'd have to write a whole dissertation about it. What is important for technical analysis is being aware of support, resistance lines, trend lines, and what's going on. And you can just see how we went from a meager sort of a much flatter upward trending line to just boom. This thing is taken off. We are fully above previous highs and some of the previous highs and previous support or previous resistance has now become support. So hard not to be bullish Southwest Airlines. So that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Love seeing the comments. Thank you for the subscribers, and I'll be making more videos soon. Happy trading.